whole new vibe these days. Old school Louisville boy like Reese Gaines. I know we were cool back then, but things change. Your chick give me brain, my chicken's free range. Reporting live from the 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 4 of the Crack Paddles podcast. I am your host, Alex Crum, alongside my co-host,
Kevin Dong.
Okay.
Also known as
KD, but I was just testing you to see if you followed along with my cadence. If I say AC, you say KD. If I say Alex Crum, you say Kevin Dong.
Oh, I'm locked in now.
Okay. Love to hear it. Anyway, Kevin, how are you?
Doing great. Just hot off a Moneyball, so second Moneyball in 2 weeks. A little Bourbon Cup action here.
Okay.
Played with my good friend Ali Reichert, and we got gold. So it was somewhat of a hostile environment, but honestly that made it even more fun because we were playing the semifinals. We played Riley Bonert, who is a great player, but definitely the hometown hero. So it was interesting, like getting a crowd like actively rooting against us.
I feel like you like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like you thrive on that when people are like, you get this donkster out of my face and you go in and you're flying around just
that it's more that I just love energy in general. Like my worst nightmare is playing a competitive pickleball match with no energy from our opponents, no energy from the crowd, and no energy from my partner and myself. That is my worst nightmare.
Right. I agree. Well, congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you. But yeah, it's been an interesting 2 weeks because last Sunday I played with Susanna Barr, who is like a pickleball OG, like a legend, MLP champion, and just all the accolades. And this week I played with Ali Reichert, who's just like a great friend who in terms of our pickleball lives, we've like grown up together through like the ratings and skills and stuff. So it was just like a crazy opportunity playing with Susanna and just kind of learning and just trying to learn everything that she's telling me to do. Like, hey, like stop cheating over on your backhand counters, like hold it a little more neutral, or just like, hey, like, dink middle because they're not hurting us there versus like out wide, they have way more options. It was just like lesson after lesson. I was just like, should I be paying you for this? and Susanna's just like the best partner for vibes and stuff. So anytime you have a partner that you have good vibes with, like that cannot go underappreciated. I think you and I have talked about this a lot. Like the partner, even if you're two independently great pickleball players, the partnership might not work if you guys just don't have the right chemistry, right?
Right. And I'd say even too, like I played in the Bourbon Cup as well. And men's doubles, me and my buddy Alex Gauthier, I used an analogy on Instagram that I got from an elementary school teacher of mine. She referred to me and my group of friends as good trees in a bad forest. And I really thought about that analogy when me and Alex played, because I think in pickleball, like it's so important to have two things: complementary skill sets with your partner. It's great if you guys are both good at everything, but that's very rarely the case. And then also like a strategy. Alex and I, we're two lead guitarists, right? So it's like we're out there.
Can't make a band with that.
And it just doesn't work out. I think we're both individually pretty darn good doubles players. Like I'm working on it. It's like I feel the progress. Like I believe I will be a top doubles player in like short order, but relatively short order. But like I need someone that complements my style, as does he. And it's like if you're out there trying to do the same things and you have no clear intentional goal in mind of what your strategy is, you're just not going to beat good teams. You just won't. Like it's just not going to happen. And I think
won't do it consistently.
No, yes, in a vacuum. In a vacuum, he and I can go out there and beat a couple 6-3s. Like we've done.
You did last year.
Right, but we could also go out there and lose to your Aunt Susie and her Uncle Jim. And that's sort of the problem, is that, your best teams are not going to lose to teams that are worse than them on paper, whereas we might. So I learned a lot. Mixed was fun as well. I think mixed doubles is going to be my new thing. Like I had a blast out there playing today. It's like pretty close to singles. I know everyone always says like first a good singles player gets good at mixed and then they get good at men's. And I've played so little mix, but like after today, I played with a girl who was a good player. Not to the level of like maybe the top 3 or 4 girls in the tournament, but was a good solid player. And I was like, this was so fun. Like I had a blast. Shout out to Riley Hanks from Oregon.
Yeah, and you guys made out a pool play and like right, so it was like you guys had a good result for on paper, like how you guys were seeded essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, girls from the Pacific Northwest, like they're just a little tougher. She was exactly what I expected. Just those girls, they don't see the sun. They all have those like not Ravenclaw. What are those backpacks? Those little backpacks that all the hiker girls
Fanny
have.
packs?
No, not fanny packs. They're like the little.
No idea.
Everyone's gonna know what I'm talking
Camelback.
about. Not Camelback. Anyway, it's like an Icelandic brand.
Okay.
But anyway, they're just like tough. Those Pacific Northwestern girls. So she was tough. She played great. I had a blast.
So you were saying like styles and stuff matching up, and like 1 + 1 doesn't always equal 2 in the pickleball world, right?
Right.
I'm really like I'm just really reflecting on my journey recently, and like I really think that part of maturing as a pickleball player is being able to adapt your style based on who you're playing with. Because when I play with Wade, well, we got destroyed because people were crashing on us in January. So then from January to April, I was like, let me just hit better returns, let me hit bigger serves, bigger drives, and then in April, we drove and crashed through everyone and made the semis of the APP in Fort Lauderdale. And then after that success, it was like, okay, like I need to go even more all in and just create chaos and drive and poach and everything like crazy. And I feel like that was actually like I overdid it. Like it was counterproductive where I was like, this is my one strategy and it's going to win me pickleball matches. And that didn't happen. It was like, yeah, it'll win me pickleball matches when I'm playing my best, but it won't work 100% of the time. It won't work consistently. So playing with Susanna and then going back to playing with Allie, it was like just this realization of like, wow, like literally hour like 6 of the Moneyball last weekend, Susanna was like, hey, like you're just like banned from driving, like no more drives. So I was like, okay, yeah, like my legs are getting tired.
That's like the OG sitting you down saying, son, you better take the trash out right now. And you're like, all right, like I will.
I'm going. I'm getting up off the couch. Yeah.
Right.
So it was just funny that like she was like, it was working, but like I think you're getting tired. Like these drives are not getting us anything. Like we don't have to use that strategy. So instead, it was like I just hit my drops. I guess I had forgotten that my drops are like pretty reliable and like would get us in, and I was able to put more pressure dropping the ball and just getting to the kitchen line and trying to be big. Right. And so it just it really helped me because when I play with Allie, I was like, she's just an absolute beast at the kitchen line. Like
she is
just we'll move dinks around, we'll never lose a hands battle against the guy or the girl. And it's like, okay, yeah, like how do we best utilize Allie's skill set? Okay, I can create some chaos if it's there with some drives, if someone's stacking or someone hits a bad return. But in general, it was like, oh, like create some chaos when it's available. When it's not, don't force the issue. Just get in, play pickleball, and let everyone do their thing. And that just was, I don't know, I thought it was a sign of maturity where it was like, okay, I don't have to be like a one-dimensional pickleball player. It's okay to use different tool sets in the same game with the same partner. So just something to think about. Don't try and what's it,
stick a square peg in a round hole.
Yes, that's the one.
There you go, Kev. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think pickleball is so new that like you have success with one strategy and you feel like you need to implement it all the time. But it's the same thing like in football, right? Like sometimes if you're playing against like a really good pass defense, you're going to run the ball more often or vice versa. So I think that variety is always good. And I think you as a chess player, and I've recently like went down the chess Instagram rabbit hole. It's like half my algo right now, which I don't hate it, honestly.
I love that.
I still like haven't played much, but I'm getting into it. But yeah, like there's just pickleball is like a chess match, right? Like that doubles is like a chess match. Singles is like blitz, but
yes.
Maybe you always, one thing that I think is so fascinating about doubles is that like there are many different ways to skin a cat. Like people win doing all kinds of different strategies and stuff like that. And so I think the more analytical and like the more willing you are to adapt and change based upon not only who you're playing against, but also who you're playing with can only make you a better player.
Absolutely.
So I had a lot of fun. Congratulations to you guys. 2 really good performances for you for Mr. Moneyball.
Thank you. Appreciate it. What's new in the world of AC? AC baby.
All kinds of things, Kevin. All kinds of things are new. Some old, some new. Lots of things moving and shaking. This week was super cool. On Tuesday, I had the documentary film crew spend a full day with me, like literally from like 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And I don't want to like spoil the whole thing, but I'll just tell you that it was a long day, man. Like being mic'd up for that long, like I enjoyed doing this kind of stuff, clearly, but like it was exhausting. Like I was just thinking about like reality TV stars and like the Kardashians, for example, like who are like mic'd up 24/7, like where you just have to be on. Like not that I act the same way that I act like maybe
It's still an extra mental toll.
yeah,
right?
a few less cuss words maybe when I was mic'd up, but like yeah, it was just exhausting. Super fun. Like the crew was incredible. I think they had a really good time. It was all of theirs first time to Louisville, and it was a beautiful day. So yeah, I can't wait to see how it all shakes out. Recorded my new single this week as well, which it's pickleball coded. I can tell you that. I'm shooting a music video this week for the single at the Louisville Zoo. So somehow the Louisville Zoo has granted us permission to shoot this music video in the Tiger exhibit. And like,
No way.
just saying that sentence out loud makes me so happy.
That's crazy.
I love this Louisville Zoo. I love this song. Like, I think it's gonna blow. I'll be completely frank with you.
Blow in a good way.
Blow in a good way. So that's what's new with me. Other than that, I mean, yeah, this week will be a busy week of training. My mom's doing much better, so like that's giving me peace of mind. We had what we call a Mommy Alex Day. Well, we coined that term when I was around 5 or 6, where we would just like go to Target and get a pack of cards and like get a slushie. So today we went to Target. We picked up some carryout. She's doing much better. So like that's brings me some peace.
Dude, that's so adorable, and I'm glad you're able to share that.
Mommy Alex Day. We had a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm flying to San Clemente on Saturday. I'll be playing the PPA Select Medical Cup out there. Super stoked about that. Playing doubles with Ryan Eveloff and playing mixed with Christine Maddox, who's an absolute beast. I may or may not have had to bribe her to be my partner, but honestly, totally worth it. She's a rock star and a stud, so super excited about that. And yeah, that's where I'll sort of be shifting my focus to this week. I do have to go to the DMV this week, which I'm just like, I already went once, and then I was like, this is going to take me 8 hours. I need to drive to New York this afternoon. Like I'm leaving. And now I'm at the point to where like I have to spend 7 hours at the DMV
for your real ID
on Tuesday for my real ID. Correct. Like
Tough.
I have to get one, and it's just I'm not looking forward to it. But sometimes I'm gonna get there at 6:45. Like I'm waiting for like a new video game to come out or something. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, man. Other than that, life is good. Just getting ready for San Clemente, rocking and rolling.
What's next for me is a bunch of training, a bunch of wedding planning. Just did like a cake testing, cake tasting. Yeah, and
what are we thinking? Velvet?
No, my thoughts don't matter. So it's whatever Maggie wants.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll see. I love red velvet and the caramel buttercream. But it might end up being yellow cake and some cookies and cream. But we'll see. We'll see.
Dang, I can't wait. You're getting me fired up.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of wedding planning, a lot of training, and then going to be playing at the end of the month a PPA Challenger in Rochester, New York, and then the week right after playing APP Newport Beach in California. So definitely lots to train for, and then after that I'll be taking like a little bit more of I'll be training, but not quite as intensely while I actually get ready for the wedding.
You're darn right, Kevin. You better fit into that tux, buddy.
Exactly, yes.
No buttercream cake before the wedding for you, Brother Bear.
Oh, literally, diet starts tomorrow. AC, you don't understand
me too,
how
dude.
much.
No, I do. Trust me. I had like 4 pieces of key lime pie yesterday. I get it. Trust me. Yeah. And I had Graders the other. I freaking love Graders, man.
Graders is so good.
You guys,
I didn't realize they had it in Louisville.
If you never had Graders, man, it's a Cincinnati ice cream chain, and it is the best ice cream on planet Earth. Like if you're in Ohio or this region, you have to go to Graders.
When the APP came to Cincinnati, like we went to Graders twice. Both times, there's so many other pro pickleball players also at the same Graders.
It's so good. Like I've had ice cream like in East Hampton, in Cape Cod, like at these other like allegedly like ice cream hub type of joints. Nothing comes close to Graders. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But all right, Kevin, that's a very exciting stuff on both of our ends. We are going to now introduce our guest. This is a very special guest. We are so honored to have the CEO of DUPR, Tito Machado. He's an incredibly young man, fascinating guy. Joined
Yes.
DUPR in early 2022, and has really been like a boots on the ground kind of guy as far as trying to lead this company into the stratosphere, which he has done a remarkable job of. There's a lot of gems in this interview. Like we probably went longer than we, maybe intended, but it was such a fascinating interview. He's such a fascinating cat and a big supporter of ours. So we can't thank Tito enough for coming on. Here's Tito. Anything else, Kev?
Nope, we're good. Let's get into it.
All right.
On a whole new vibe these days. Old school Louisville boy like Reese Gaines. I know we were cool back then, but things change. Your chick give me brain, my chicken's free range. Reporting live from the 5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest joining us. Tito Machado, CEO of DUPR, the dynamic universal pickleball rating system. #1 source for your pickleball ratings. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Happy to be here. Happy to be with you guys. And yeah, man, I see you've been following you since the start of this craziness. So, just a true fan over here.
Amazing, brother. Well, the feeling is certainly mutual. You're down in Miami now, the new king of the 305. How you liking it down there thus far?
I'm loving it, World capital of pickleball right now. I mean, I feel like everywhere I go, I find, pickleball players. I mean, I went to the store today and I saw a couple of pros walking around, replay, all of the pros are playing like down the road and other clubs. It feels like I'm working all day long. It's not that
Right.
good.
No
feel
work-life
like
balance.
you're perpetually immersed in the scene, which is a beautiful thing in a
It
certain
is.
way.
No, what a lucky thing to be able to be doing what I love, Can't complain.
Exactly. Amazing. Well, this is our segment called Hell's Kitchen. Don't sue us, Gordon Ramsay, where basically we try to bring in influential, really cool figures in the pickleball world and then ask them mostly pickleball related questions, but some not related pickleball questions, which will mostly come from me.
Great.
So Tito, we're going to fire away at you here. Kevin, why don't you get us rolling?
Sounds good. So DUPR, correct me if I'm wrong, dynamic universal pickleball rating, right?
Correct.
And I, since I joined the pickleball world 2.5, 3 years ago, it literally feels universal. Like everyone's always talking about it. Like everyone's always looking at their own DUPR, like trying to figure out how to get it higher and stuff. But like, what's the story? Like, how did it begin? Like, how did you get? Like, how did you build this to what it is today?
Yeah. So I come from the tennis industry. So I used to work for a company named UTR, which is funny now because we're competing in the same space. But I used to work for them. And back in the day, I got a call from Jill Braverman, who used to work at UTR as well. And she called me in 2021 and she told me about this crazy thing called pickleball and told me, hey, the thing's going to explode. Like, come join and build our whole, business side. And again, I was a tennis guy through and through. I was a tennis coach. I still consider myself a tennis coach. That's why I think I'm able to do business because I've been on court with so many different people for so many different hours that I always felt like, hey man, I can do 10 hours on court on a crazy summer day. Put me in an AC room with a laptop. Life is good. So she called me and told me, hey, come and check this out. Flew me down to a tournament, PPA in Legacy in Arizona, in Phoenix, and left everything, came to build it. And, DUPR was part of Major League Pickleball. We were the same company, founded by Steve Kuhn. We actually were literally the same company. We were kind of like the nerdy sibling of Major League Pickleball. And it's been an absolute ride from, rating changes to trying to be an event management platform to realizing, hey, if we want to dominate the space, we need to be one thing, and it's the rating. We need to get global adoption. We need to make sure that we are the language of the sport. And, we focus extremely on acquiring clubs. That's the secret, truly. We went to every club. As I said, I always believe that if I'm able to get the pros and the club directors to adopt us, that's how we get the community. I always played head tennis rackets all my life because my coach played head tennis rackets all his life. So I always made that relationship and we started getting into the community. And here we are with over 1.2 million users on the platform.
And when you say, just to give an idea of the timeline, like how many years ago did this start? And then when you're infiltrating and stuff, that's like to get users on the platform, right? Like,
correct. So one of the things I joined DUPR on January of 2022.
okay.
And it was already born, it was already there, but it was called Dreamland Universal Pickleball Rating. Dreamland for the Pickleball Club. So it was a
Wow.
rating to be able to support Major League Pickleball at the beginning. So that's when we started. And at that stage, we were a PowerPoint with no platform, with nothing else, starting to create an app. But we had MLP, we had Major League Pickleball, we had a sponsorship deal with PPA somehow. We were getting match data. So, we realized, hey, pickleball is a sport played at parks and clubs. We need to lock the real estate down. So, I got a list of clubs. I had a massive spreadsheet where I was looking on Google, looking at club numbers and websites, and I was calling every single pro around the country. I'm like, hey, you should adopt DUPR. Let's run some events. Let's run some tournaments. You can make some money through this. So it's been as big of a grind as you can imagine.
That's actually crazy to me because I started playing pickleball like around like sometime in 2022. So by the time I started, you had already blown this thing up. Like that is such a quick turnaround.
He's using his phone 12 hours a day.
It got on fire. It really did. Also, I think everything in life is timing. Right? Everything's about timing and being on the right place, right time. And like we were in this wave of optimism of like everything pickleball was cool. Everyone wanted to be part of it, at the beginning, right? The pickleball fanatics at the stage were real core, were like the true freaking people who loved it. And now we follow that wave and it just kind of happened. And again, we built an amazing team of other people who were passionate about it. I fell in love with the sport. The community, to be honest, more than the sport even. Like I always say this, like people always tell me like, what do you love more about pickleball? And I cannot say it's a dinkin. I have to say that this, 5 p.m. at the park and seeing everyone around the community, that's what calls attention. So yeah, right time, right moment, it was happening and, we were there. We were part of it. So it was great to be there.
Amazing. Well, I will say that dynamic fits a lot better than Dreamland.
Yeah.
I hate the name Dream Breaker, but that's another dog for a different day. I won't get into that right now. All right. Very well thought out. Excellent answer, Tito. Thank you for sharing with us there. I have a question for you now. Yep. So people in the pickleball space care a lot about their DUPRs, which is ultimately good for business. However, you could make the argument that some people care maybe a little bit too much about their DUPR. What is like the craziest thing you've had a disgruntled DUPR user say to you? Or like, have you ever had someone at the park be like, Tito, I'm a 5'6", not a 4'4"?
Or emails or DMs.
Yeah. Have you received like angry?
Guys, you cannot even imagine the craziness.
Yeah, I can.
We've been reported to the Bureau of like whatever we have people like, I actually saw a post yesterday about a relationship. This was like a Reddit forum or whatever. Like a guy going to Reddit like, hey, my girlfriend doesn't want to talk to me anymore because my DUPR is not high enough. It's crazy because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal of DUPR is closer to your golf handicap rather than this toxic relationship with it. This finding level based play. That's what we're trying to do, right? Like we've grown so much, and when the majority of pickleball players, they're working people, right? You finish your work of day like 5 p.m. You want to go and play some pickleball. You want to play meaningful games. Like, this whole like UP go to the park and play with, 70-year-old player. That's great. Week one, it was a lot of fun. When I'm playing for a whole year, and we all know this, we all are a little selfish with our time. So I think the best way to maintain this community is by still offering community by level. But yeah, man, it's been crazy. I mean, I have the craziest DMs ever. Like we have a message tool on the app, and if I read through my DMs, I mean, people or love me or hate me or like threats. It's been absolutely wild this last couple of years.
Give us one line, one example.
Send all. If you got hate for Tito, you send them my way. I can handle it, or spread the wealth a little bit.
I mean, that's so funny, guys. I'm actually pulling up right now
Let's go.
this one because, yeah, let me see. So, okay, check this out. So, started playing pickleball with my wife during COVID just for fun. We were total noobs. Fast forward to 2 years, I got obsessed, trained hard, hit 4.6 DUPR. She stayed at 3.2 and didn't care to improve. We stopped pandering, fought constantly. She said I care about DUPR more than her. But one night at racquet, we got matched up. I went full try hard and earned it there twice. She cried, and I said, maybe you should drill more. That would have never happened. Divorce follow. Moral, DUPR is forever. Girlfriend wasn't.
Oh, that's incredible. That might be the best thing I've ever heard. I couldn't agree more.
It's absolutely crazy, and you know that's when it really turns fun because people always tell me like, Tito, we do have to add things to the app and do a lot of things and improvements, but we're not really a technology company. That's why I always tell to explain we're more of a pickleball company with an app that needs improvements, but we're more of a cultural phenomenon, right? Rather than truly that, like even our socials are so people like everything, they comment everything, they're engaged, which talks a little bit about how weird us, we are in pickleball, right? We just get obsessed with this number and love it.
Amazing. That's such a good story.
That's such a good line. DUPR is forever. The girlfriend is temporary.
It's crazy. It's crazy, guys. I mean, I'll share this screenshot with you. So if you want to put this on the the picture on the podcast,
beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I have another question just along the same lines here. So you worked for UTR, and I am of the belief that morals aside, whatever, one of the biggest shoes to fall in the world of professional pickleball, if we want it to seed, is going to ultimately have to be the gambling shoe. How far away do you think we are from DUPR being refined enough to the point where these books can make lines based on DUPR?
I mean, listen, we're able to predict games out of 75% accuracy. Now we have a big, we have our current algo. We have an algo in the back, which we call True North, that we also run. That was a little more dynamic as well.
Is that one visible to the public?
No. So.
Okay.
So this is actually a perfect timing to discuss this because we're working going to that point at some time this year. But early on at DUPR, we had a very dynamic rating which had connectivity and spread, right? Meaning that it was all about points, winning, right? And not about winning and losing that match. It was about
how close.
It was more like if me and AC were to go and play on the court, and he's supposed to beat me 11-1, 11-1, and the score ends up being 11-5, 11-5. I overperformed. I proved the rating that that I'm better than I am. So my rating, even though I lost, would go up, and AC's will go down. That was historically what we had with DUPR. We then also had connectivity, which that means that every single game in the network was connected, right? One of the problems that we had early on with the pickleball community is that a lot of people were new to the racket sports industry, racket sports, right? And the thing was too dynamic, right? Like being a 4-0 meant so much that if you woke up tomorrow morning and my dynamic rating moved from a 4-0 to a 3-6 because DUPR got more information of my opponents, people wanted to kill us. I mean, that's when I was a serious target, right? Yeah. I had to be careful. So that's when we decided, hey, you know what? Let's take a step back. We cannot go with
simplify it a little bit.
Simplify things. Pickleball is a new sport. We need to take people from A to B to C and not go start at C. So we went back, simplify the rating, simplify the algo. We've been slowly going back to that concept, but explaining every step at a time. So the true story is that those two algos live right now. We have our current algo and we have our True North in the back.
And the True North changes like constantly, even if you don't play.
Correct.
Okay.
It's completely dynamic. It has, drops games like after 30 games, if you're not playing, it drops a game. So it's this living thing, right? This is living thing. And we always have that always running. And that's kind of our, as I said, True North. We compare our rating to that. And we're looking at some point to moving to something similar. And again, that's kind of the work that we're doing. But the reality is that the performance of both algorithms are not as different as we thought it would, because when you're looking at an algorithm, right, you're looking at an average or your rating, looking at the average of matches, right? So people, when they're supposed to beat people, they actually beat them most of the time,
Yeah.
So we're able to predict who's going to win at such a high level of accuracy, to your point, and we're able to know what the score is going to be at a pretty high level. So yeah, we could totally use our data right now for gambling purposes. I think the sport is still trying to figure out exactly what path to follow there. I think we're still figuring out the pro side. I think PPA is doing a great job, and MLP, but again, it's a new product, guys. Like, people are a little overcritical, or a little have too high of expectations. Like, let's not forget that 2022, 2021, no one knew what this whole thing was.
Right.
It wasn't that long ago.
That seriously blows my mind that this all really started gaining momentum in 2022. Just like, by the time I joined, it was already ubiquitous. Like, it was everywhere.
Yeah, it was, but I remember in 2022, I will still tell people, like, I work in pickleball, and I'll be like, "You work in pickleball? Like,
sorry,
what are you saying?" And
DUPR was ubiquitous.
In pickleball, and they're like, sick, it's crazy. Yeah.
I meant DUPR was everywhere in the pickleball world. But to your point,
sorry. I think you were talking about the sport. Okay. Yeah.
All right, interesting. Yeah, and again, like, pickleball is obviously so new, and tennis has been, and betting on these other platforms and things have been around forever and ever and ever and ever. Now it's come to the forefront. It's on ESPN and whatever. And I've talked about this before. Like, a lot of my friends are sports degenerates. Like, they watch everything, and I just know that if they could bet on a doubles pickleball match, they would all watch. Whereas right now, like, they watch me play singles and that's it. Right. So I just, like, that's my ultimate aspiration, because I just feel like the viewership numbers will go to the moon. So I know we're probably still a little bit of ways away from it. I'm just, like, ultimately hopeful that will happen, because I think the sport needs it to make money.
No. Hey, I mean, tennis is the second most gambled sport in the world.
Yeah,
I mean,
trust me, my buddies.
Like, it's it. I mean, you go to a challenger in freaking Kenya, and you see, two dudes watching two Eastern European dudes watching a tennis game right there in the stands, because of the betting. So no, it definitely will find its way. Again, I think the lines, the way we predict things, not only through DUPR, but in general, the viewership, formats, all of these different things, I think we're figuring out, and I think we'll get there. I mean, at the end of the day, people are playing so much. If we are able to convert 10% of the people who are playing into viewers, we have a freaking sport.
1,000%.
Yeah,
1,000%. All right, KD.
All right. Speaking of, like, the ratings and people trying to figure out if they're accurate or not, I may have been in this position before, but a lot of people sometimes complain about their ratings being lower than they think it is. Question one: have you been in that position about your own rating? And two is, like, what would your advice be to someone who thinks that their rating is lower than it should be?
No, mine is completely inflated. I mean, I pay my algo, guys. Like, no way. Like, this is no.
Hey, make him a 6'2".
No, it's interesting, because I get this complaints on a daily basis, and I get these complaints from people you wouldn't even imagine. Some of the texts I've gotten this last 3 years, even from celebrities, from professional players, from so many different people, it's insane. And at the end of the day, we're looking at average of your matches, right? So one of the big misconceptions is, I went to the court the other day and I beat a 5-0, right? Yeah, but last week you lost against a 4-3. So just because on your best of days you beat a 5-0 doesn't mean that that's your level, right? You need to prove those type of performances time and time, right? You have to keep playing and performing. So, most of the time, actually all of the time, if we have enough data for that player, they're not lower than they should be. They just need to keep playing. You need to prove us, beat a couple of 5-5s, beat them over and over again for a couple times. You're going to show us that the algo is wrong and your rating is going to go up.
So in a nutshell, go get more data. Like, go get more data is the advice.
Always. And that's the other big thing, that one of the issues that we're having, and we're that's going to change now with a couple of updates that we're adding to the algo. We have a protection kind of concept into the rating right now. We have people who reach a certain level and they're like, okay, I'm not playing anymore. This is the rating I want it to be. Yeah. So I'm not playing anymore. And this happens, and I understand this because I'm a coach, right? That's my nature, right? There's a lot of coaches, right? That, hey, I reached the level I wanted. This is the level I want my clients to see. This is, I'm selling myself in South Florida as a 5-0. I want everyone to know I'm a 5-0, so I'm able to coach and charge this amount, and I get it. But that's not what the rating is for. The rating is a representation of your level today, not 6 months ago, not a year ago. It's today. Right. If there is no reliability, if we see, it's meaningless. And maybe at some point we take it away after zero reliability. I don't know. We're discussing those things.
Well, that's awesome. That's good advice. And it is definitely a more interesting question when you do factor in, like, people think their DUPR is their identity, or, part of their profession. Like, that definitely does throw the wrenches in. So I didn't even think about that. So that's definitely, that was a good topic that you brought up.
Oh, there is a lot of brands who give sponsorship for a certain DUPR, and that's another one. Like, we've had issues where we've changed some people because they were inflated, or there were some matches that were too old and stuff like that, and the DUPR went down, and they're like, Tito, this is what I'm getting paid from this brand. This is what I'm getting here. This is why, my content creation, whatever. So it's complex, and I get it. Again, the solution is always play more. Keep adding matches. That's it's like your golf handicap. It's not like any other rating. Like, add data, keep performing, and you should be fine.
Go play more, win more, which means you gotta drill more and get better so that you can win more.
Correct.
All right. Pretty cut and dry there. I love it. I have a question for you, Tito, non-pickleball related. So you just moved to Miami from Charleston, South Carolina, which is a lovely city. What are you most looking forward to about living in Miami now, not related to the weather? And what are you going to miss most about Charleston? Because I love Charleston.
Yeah, no, I mean, I freaking love Charleston. Met a, great group of guys over there as well. Had, friends, which is great. And, everyone knows the older you get, the tougher it is to find your people in a new city. Sure. It's stuff with work and travel and everything. But, I'm excited to be in the center of the hurricane a little bit. Miami, South Florida right now in general, it just feels like things are happening.
The energy is crazy, man.
It's there now. And I lived in New York back in the day. When I was in New York, I just felt, like as a foreign, as an immigrant, right, coming to New York City, always felt like, dude, I'm the top of the world. Like,
you feel alive. That's what I say. Exactly. Whenever I go to New York, I like walk around and I'm like, I'm here. This is where I'm at right now. Like, exactly. I take the energy, I bottle it, and I leave. But I need to do that once a year. I go to New York for a week just to like suck it in. Like, somebody rob me, like do whatever, kick me, and then I leave New York and I feel like, all right, now I'm ready to go.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. It's just like it's a vital thing, and I'm so grateful that I got to live there, and I'm so grateful I met so many great people there, and I think it's one of those places in the world that also makes you stronger, makes you harder, makes you tougher. 100%. So right now I love Charleston. I felt I was a little bit in a bubble. I felt like I was a little bit in like beautiful oasis.
Yeah.
For career-wise and life-wise and stuff like that, South Florida, for where I'm at right now, I just felt like I need to be here. This is where it's happening, and honestly, it's fantastic so far, man.
Yeah, so you're like in Charleston, you're like a 6-0, but you're playing against other 6-0s. We send you to Miami, you're going to be competing against 6-5s and higher. So we think that's the best way for Tito to grow as a person. He's got to get outside of his comfort zone a little bit. Got to be in the eye of the hurricane. I love that.
I agree. Okay. For sure.
Beautiful. I'll be down there with you soon, Brother Bear.
Hit me
Not
up.
Miami, but like 30, 45 from Miami.
Awesome, man. I mean, no, I'm actually like, I actually didn't go to Miami. I'm in Del Rey.
Oh, okay. So, that's where I'm going to be.
Oh, so I'm in Del Rey.
I'll be a replay with all those ding dongs.
Yeah. So I'm here. I'm in this area. I'm in Miami all the time. I'm usually always in Miami, but I think Miami is a little too dangerous for me. I just have too much fun over there. I decided to go a little more north and
Right. We
and
saw
stay.
Tito at Club Space 3 nights in a row. And we thought, all right, send this guy to Del Rey. Perfect. All right. Good answer, Tito. Thank you, Kevin.
Speaking of growth, not just personal growth, but like you mentioned, like pickleball growing globally. What is like how much is DUPR focusing on international growth versus domestic, and like what's the key to success abroad?
Yeah, so that's the question right now in pickleball. It's not even a good question; it's the question because Asia is the most exciting market in the world. I just came from there. I spent a bunch of days in Vietnam, in Malaysia, and in Korea, and it was absolutely wild. I mean, it's Vietnam completely blew my mind as a country, Malaysia as well as a country as well. But they were like I was in Ho Chi Minh, and there was like a pickleball street where there were like 10 clubs. Like I'm not talking courts, or I'm talking sick clubs, like amazing, like 10 clubs in a row. Like you go from one club to the next one, like the door right next door. I was like, what the hell is this? The passion was wild. I was treated like an absolute celebrity over there.
Yeah.
I was like, people were taking pictures with me, and like they knew who I was. And I was in Malaysia, the same thing. So I think we all should start paying more attention to that market, because I think, my humble opinion, I think the professional side of the sport is going to be there. And I think the viewership is going to be there, because the treatment that they had for some of the stars that were there, for some of the pro players, was real. The stadiums were packed. People are watching on TV. There is a big racquet sports culture, and badminton is big.
Huge.
So you can convert badminton courts into pickleball courts like this. It's the same size. Only drop the net, change the lines a little bit. You have real estate. You have the places. So if I were a professional player, if I were trying to build my brand in pickleball, I will be focusing over there 100% with coaching coaches, with fan bases, with everything else. I think that's the market. I think in the US it's gonna grow. It's gonna be as special as it is, but it's always gonna be tough because
it's saturated.
Yeah, and listen, watching football on ESPN on Monday night or pickleball, it's tough. We have a lot of competition. We have a lot of great sports with a lot of investments, with a lot of things. Now, you invest in the right markets, you keep growing over here organically, we have something special.
So it's funny you bring up Vietnam and Malaysia, because recently I was going through my YouTube analytics, and I'm really sorry, I don't mean for this to sound like boastful, but just to give a perspective, like I have almost 900,000 returning viewers that come to my channel multiple times and watch multiple pieces of content. Out of that 900,000, 4.5% come from Vietnam and 4.5% come from Malaysia. So that I just did not know that those were going to be like significant percentage points. So it's cool to see, like, even just in terms of viewership, like that's starting to pick up steam on YouTube content. And I mean, that's like
in the last 9 months, there have opened 350 facilities in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. 350 facilities in Kuala Lumpur. Like, think how crazy that is. That's like a city, I don't know how many million people are living there, but that's like, imagine having 350 facilities in New York City. How crazy that is.
That's insane.
And how many courts that adds up to.
It's wild. It's the sport. It's a culture. People are obsessed. I saw so many pickleball. I mean, like, we had a whole conference there with all of the main guys and gals in the industry in Asia, and like the place was absolutely packed. But it wasn't like when I got invited to go, I was like, my expectations, and this was ignorant on my end, weren't great. And we're gonna go, and we see the numbers, they're growing, all of the stuff. When I saw the level of professionalism and money invested in the sport, I was like, whoa, like it was mind-blowing.
Yeah. So, to be frank, like I always talk about like Asia and India as the two places because they already have the racket sports background. They grow up playing table tennis, badminton. They're obsessed. They don't play American football. Like they play soccer, I guess, like maybe cricket,
Cricket,
whatever. But
cricket, yeah.
but like here we play 7,000 different sports. Like over there, it's not shocking to me at all. And that is where it's going to be absolutely massive. Over there, they're going to treat it like the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I heard the same documentary crew that came to Louisville on Tuesday. I was like, so where have you guys gone? And the guy was like, I went to Vietnam with Quang. And like they pick him up in like a gold Lamborghini and serve him wagyu on the tray, and he's like playing with like a gold Spytek paddle. Like it's insane. Like I don't think people understand. When he goes over there, he's the king of Vietnam.
No, it's insane. I mean, again, we had chauffeur, we got taken out to eat, and again, I'm a very normal guy. Like I'm a very easy guy. Like I can eat on a stool, and that was my whole vision, right? Like stool, noodles, and this whole vision. I got treated like almost even too good. I'm like, I just want to go and experience the great things of the country, the great food, the normal stuff, and we were treated so well. Like, we have plans every day, like. One day, one of our guys, I was like, "Hey, man, like, stop."
I need to go get a 30-cent noodle bowl. Like, I need to feel that.
Have a cold beer somewhere on some fall. Let me chill. But it was fantastic. It was definitely life changing.
Fascinating.
It's good to know that it's growing at a pretty fast rate. So that's good news for the pickleball world in general.
For sure.
Okay, and to piggyback on that real quickly, question for you. So I used to live in Germany. I've spent a decent amount of time in Europe. In my opinion, that is going to be, and obviously you're from Spain. In my opinion, that's going to be the hardest market to crack for a lot of reasons. But specifically, I'm talking about France, England, Germany. I think Spain probably has the most upside, but like Italy, there's just too much. I don't know if I want to say culture is the right word, but padel is pretty darn big over there. And I just feel like, how long do we think before Europe really, really gets into it? Because I think pickleball is inevitable, right? Like, I do think there is an inevitable nature to it, but I think Europe is going to be our last holdout, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. I mean, we signed deals with Spanish Tennis Federation. We see a lot of the Tennis Federation adopting pickleball as their sport in all of these countries. In Spain, they have a pro tour they just launched. I think they invested like $5 to $8 million in the next 5 years in the sport. One of the issues with pickleball over there is that it's still seen as a rec center sport. It's not like glamorous. It feels like a couple lines in a gym, and we also I hope not a lot of Spaniards listen to this, but I say this as a Spaniard, like there is a little bit of ego to the racket sports concept that it comes through Europe, which we feel like we know it all, and that we know tennis. We're the tennis people, and and you probably felt this when you were in Germany, and I don't know if you want to play in the Bundesliga and all of those things, but
a little bit, yeah. So
we feel like this is it's our sport, and then Spain, the paddle is like everywhere and all of this stuff. So I think it's going to happen. I think there's a lot of great racket sports athletes in those countries, and when they realize how fun it is, the conversion, they start playing, the professional side of it, I think we're going to have a little momentum. Most importantly, I think it's a good opportunity to change the way that it's born in a country. I think it's great for high schools. I think it's great for junior players. That's the way it has to be born over there.
Right.
Because the way it was born in America is unrealistic. And this is something I tell everyone, right? What happened in America cannot happen in any other market in the world. Why? Right. Because we had pickup basketball for racket sports.
Right.
So no other country in the world, right, had open freaking courts of the sport where you just showed up at that time and you just jumped in and played.
Without paying anything or anything like that. Yeah. There's not enough real estate. There's not enough real estate.
Cities are too condensed, man. You have to build a place to play. You have to charge for that court. So now you're losing the social aspect of the sport. So that's the complexity of this sport taken in Europe. It's going to be just time and space, and you pay for that time and space. Here, show up at 5. Look at the Facebook group, random Facebook group from, the Rec Community Center, and you go and play. That's a very special sauce that cannot be created everywhere.
Yeah, that was exactly my thoughts. I think it'll happen eventually, but it'll have to be sort of, everything is very structured over there as far as like you join a club. And I think it's great. Like, the club, the little club I belonged to in Germany, they had a handball team and a tennis team, and it was all very, very structured. I think that's great. But in terms of, to your point, like part of the reason that pickleball exploded so much was because of that, right? My girlfriend can show up at a park at 6 o'clock in Florida and there's 700 people there, anyway. So yeah, agreed. Fascinating. I think it'll happen, but it'll take a while.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's going to start. It's funny because I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to start from the top of the pyramid. I think we're going to start seeing higher level players coming because, how many Spanish, Germans, 200 in the world in tennis or former 200 in the world that like are going to feel like, oh, wow, some people are making money playing pickleball. Let me try and try to get into it, which is not as easy as they think it is. But no. I think that thought process, you're gonna see way more of that just because, I'm a former tennis player. I thought the same thing. Then I started playing pickleball because, I have 0 hands and 0 feel. But when I saw it, I'm like, hey, I'm going to come in and I'm going to be a pro. And, that doesn't happen for us clay players. I cannot play from the baseline.
Yeah. Fascinating. I've been getting into a lot of wars of words with people on Instagram about my Serena Williams video saying that Anna Leigh would absolutely annihilate Serena in singles, which she would. I mean, at 43 years old, it wouldn't be close. But
the mobility was never Serena's strong suit, so it's just not even it's not a good matchup, not a good translation of skills either.
It's a different sport.
Correct.
I listen. I don't care what anyone says. Like even like for tennis players watching this, like you can be as good as you want on playing off the baseline, right? There are guys that you can play mini tennis with, and they will beat you playing mini tennis because it's a different sport and they have better hands. And stuff like that. Pickleball is a whole different sport. It's a whole different nature. So yeah, does it help to have had some, racket sports, a hand coordination and movement and footwork? 100%. Does that mean that you're gonna be a top player in the world? Absolutely not.
I also think that the window of time where that translation puts you near, if you're, a top level tennis player or whatever, like, 200 in the world, and you come over to pickleball, like that translation window is only gonna get tighter and tighter as more people grow up playing pickleball. Because like we're all taking our racket sport background and trying to shove it into the pickleball skill set. But what happens when the majority of the pickleball base grew up playing it and training pickleball specifically? Like that's only going to raise the level.
100%. And listen, it happened the same thing with padel, by the way. Like, and I know we're going through all of this, like, concepts, pains. Everyone is opinionated about our sport and so many different things. Like everyone thought in padel 20 years ago that because you came from tennis, you were going to be good. All of this padel generation are not tennis players. No. And look at the kind of athletes that they are. Have you seen those videos on YouTube?
Oh, they're insane, bro. My boys play tons of padel. Like I play some, but I'm not good at padel because my skill set is different. Like I don't have a good overhead, right? Like I didn't grow up playing squash, so I don't read the ball well off the wall. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's certain skill sets in pickleball and certain skill sets in padel. Like my buddy's Brazilian, he's insane at padel. He's trash at pickleball. He's good at tennis. Like it can be that, but most people don't understand that. They're just like, yeah, are you kidding me? Like, all right, dude.
No, it's listen, and in every sport, of course, there is these people who are very gifted and talented and they can feel any kind of racket.
Sure.
That's a 1%, like less, it's completely different. And listen, we had some of the top tennis players in the world join the sport of pickleball, and they haven't dominated the way that people thought they were. Right. Some of the players playing on tour right now. Query. They were top players, and it doesn't translate. So yeah, it's
no. Yeah, last thing I'll say about this is I think there are certainly guys in the top 100 in the world. When given a paddle and ample time to train, there are certain guys who would come in and be top pros. Yes, But I think there are also guys, in the top 20, 30, people would be shocked that would come over and just the skill sets wouldn't quite translate to that level. So you may have a guy, say like a Bublik or something, who would come in and be great. But you might also have a guy,
Medvedev?
that's like a Medvedev who's not good at pickleball. So it's just, I think people don't get that like there's slightly different skill sets, and there would be some top pros that would be great pickleball pros and some that would not.
Actually, I think today's June 8th French Open just happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at the two finals of the French Open. I think Alcaraz will be a sick pickleball player. I think Sinner will be a horrendous pickleball player. I think his body time is just not meant to be. His shots, the way he plays, I think Sinner wouldn't be able to play pickleball at all. And I think Alcaraz being a little lower center of gravity, more compact, a little more feel. And you're talking about the number 1 and number 2 in the world, Sinner being the number 1. I think from those two will be completely different pickleball careers, if you ask me.
Yeah, Alcaraz would be sick.
Yeah, he would.
He'd be hitting like banana forehands from 3 feet behind the baseline.
Yeah, he'd be hitting an ATP return.
Yeah.
But anyway, fascinating. All right, well, Tito, Kevin, you got anything else for him? I got one more, but I don't know yet.
I'm good.
He's given us a lot of his time here, a lot of wonderful gems in here. My last question: what is a goal for Tito Machado for this summer that is not pickleball related? You want to go see like an opera show? You want to try that new cheeseburger down the road? What's one goal for Tito that's not pickleball related for the summer?
No, I'm actually last 2 years ago I did a half an Ironman in Madison, Wisconsin, and I am doing a full Ironman next May. So I'm at the start of my I'm an absolute extremist, guys. Like I am like I'm the definition of black or white. I'm that guy.
You're all in.
So the goal right now, I already started training. So the whole goal is to get back into the shape, swimming, training, all of the stuff. I miss competition myself. I miss feeling like an athlete. I mean, it must be awesome. I see now that you're playing at this level and, one of the best players in the world and competing, getting back to those days of feeling that competition
it's the best.
And training. It's
the best. Just talking about like that feeling of being an athlete. I think when you've grown up being an athlete, growing up teaching, competing, playing, like I always tell people this, like I love teaching. I mean, you and I have literally done the same job. Like we taught those 8, 9, 10-hour days in the sun. Like people don't understand like how much energy that takes out of you and how much energy you give. And I do enjoy it because you're meeting so many different kinds of cool people and you're, interacting at a high level all day long, but you are beat by the end of the day, totally beat. And so to have a competitive outlet again, it's like that yin and the yang, being able to teach, but then also compete at a high level has given me such more balance. Like I love both of them, but being in competition and like waking up with a purpose, like, all right, I need to go get better at this. Like it's been like incredible just for like my mental health and everything else. So
it's purpose, man. And we all want purpose, right? Like it's absolutely critical and feeling good about yourself, right? At the end of the day, when you're doing the good things, eating good, right food, and you just follow things, it's fantastic. And, honestly, I think winning is the most addictive feeling in the world, it just is, when you're on the court and you feel like you're there and those tight moments and those nerves, there is nothing like those nerves. I actually don't believe there is nothing in life like feeling like I was watching the French Open final today and like, those, love for Sinner serving for match and the way your body feels, the way you're waiting for that return, like, oh my God, like, we don't get so many more moments like that.
No.
Sometimes you live your last moment on a court and that's it. And you never feel it. So it's pretty unique.
Amazing, man. Well, Tito, this has been an incredible conversation. We can't thank you enough for joining us here today, man. We love what you're doing. We're your biggest fans. And again, thanks for joining us, brother. Hope I'll be linking with you down there and so. But we won't go to Club Space, but we'll train for the Ironman. Maybe get some tacos or something. We'll have fun.
Sounds good. Thank you, boys. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. We appreciate
you so much,
man.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Tito. Talk soon, buddy.
So that's not a little bored. That sucks. Life's tough. Last thing I need is more stuff. It's true. I need a little more time with you and more rosé with my lunch. One piece of mind. Sometimes you gotta look deep inside.